Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. We are going to take a look at pitching for today. It is the 18th of May. It is Saturday. We do have a 6-game day slate and a 7-game evening or main slate in front of us. As always, I will be looking at DraftKings as a majority of my action is on DraftKings. For FanDuel, my pitcher pool is a lot smaller because we don't have to be as creative. And a reminder that this is a first look at pitching. I literally have not looked at the slate until right now. As the day goes on, I will provide thoughts to DFS Armory members through our Discord. But let's dig in here with the day slate, which actually starts in a little over 4 hours from now. So at the top, Imnaga has been extremely impressive. Arguably the most impressive pitcher in the National League. And actually, the Cubs have two of them. Javier Assad has been ridiculously strong as well. But Imnaga against the Pirates. I'm very curious on the weather in Chicago. Looks like we have a game total of 7.5, so I assume the wind might be blowing in slightly. Imnaga is a minus 205 favorite. K-Prop is 7.5. Juice is on the under, but 7.5 feels aggressive. I think I would prefer to see it at 6.5 for bringing the over more into play. But like I did say, the juice is on the under on that. He's somebody I'm definitely interested in. Luis Castillo, not as interested in him. He has been throwing the ball pretty well uh, for over a month now, but I'm just not picking on Baltimore in Baltimore with a pitcher. Uh, could Castillo surprise and get it done? Yeah, for sure. K prop is just 5.5. Juice is on the over. But right now the game's listed as a pick 'em. Game total of just 7.5. But I would much rather obviously play Imanaga. Luis Hill probably gonna be pretty chalky against the White Sox. Might even rather play Gaussman, even though he hasn't really been all that great to begin the season. Luis Hill has been really strong. Ks have come down a little bit. Walks are still kind of there. Can have a home run issue, but um, trying to locate the Yankees quick. He is a minus 310 favorite. That means the White Sox team total has to be 2 something. K prop of 5.5. Just a strong spot for Luis Hill. Going to be the overwhelming chalk, I would assume, at this point. Gaussman, up and down season so far. Coming off of a horrendous start. K prop of 5.5, juice on the over, strongly on the over. The minus 135 favorite. Game total of just 7.5. Those know I have been picking on Tampa Bay with some pitching, so I will stick with Gaussman in my pool, uh, but it's not some kind of lock. I kind of feel better about Luis Severino against the Marlins at this point. Probably even better about Dean Kramer against Seattle in that game if he's officially the starter. The DK Sportsbook doesn't have any starter listed for Baltimore right now, so that is something we'll have to pay attention to. But to get back up here, Severino against the Marlins has had some solid starts this year, had some blah starts as well. Walks have kind of crept up the last few starts, which is always a worry for me. He is a minus 135 favorite. Game total on that one, 7.5 as well. K prop of 5.5, juice on the under. He's just been steady enough. And obviously, I think some people are going to be gun shy after Christian Scott was dinged up last night. He certainly hurt my hand build lineups because I was plugging in Scott a lot. So that one definitely hurt, but I'm not afraid to go right back to a pitcher against the Marlins. Zach Eflin, I don't think I'm getting there. K's really haven't been there. He is an underdog. His K prop is just 4.5 with juice on the under. I'm just not overly interested in Eflin, I guess, at this point. Uh, he will go on some hot stretches throughout the year, and he'll be somebody that's very valuable. I just don't think he's going to put up a performance that we're going to go, dang, I wish I would have played him. So that's kind of my thinking initially. Dean Kramer coming off of a 10K performance, two 10 strikeout performances in his last four starts. Something I didn't think I'd see out of him, but home runs can be an issue. He does give up some home runs, so something to pay attention to. But he would be coming in on an extra day of rest, so makes me feel like he's definitely going to see the mound. Uh, Looks like defense let him down his last time out, but I am definitely interested. I'm really curious to see what his K prop would be because we know that Seattle strikes out more than any other team in baseball on the season. Jordan Hicks certainly viable, just not a super reliable strikeout guy as a starter. As a bullpen guy, he was able to throw over 100 consistently. Kind of settling in. Great ballpark to pitch in. Colorado has been hotter, put it in quotation marks, because I just don't think they're a very good team. But I'm also seeing some places where Kyle Harrison might still start. He was scratched last night. So it's something we want to pay attention to. If it's Hicks, I mean, whoever the San Francisco pitcher is, as long as it's a traditional starter, they're going to be in my pool on this slate. Um, if we do have wind blowing in at Wrigley, then Bailey Falter might be somebody that I consider. He was decent against the Cubs last time out, just one strikeout though. That's kind of questionable. This 8 against Milwaukee is going to look more and more like an outlier as the season goes on. But I feel like we still could see at least some strikeouts out of him. Uh, K prop is just 3.5, too strongly on the over. We did see Skeens strike out everybody yesterday. So, but yeah, Falter may be somebody to mix in. I'm just not sure I'm going to get there. So let's take a look here at the main slate now. Anytime we get Zach Gallen at home, I am very interested. Basically, no matter who the opponent is at this point. Um, One run allowed in 17 innings so far at home this year. Continuation off of what his numbers were like previously as well. So it's not like this is a brand new thing. Home Gallen has been a thing for me for a couple of years now. K prop is just 5.5 with juice slightly on the under, which isn't all that intriguing, but he is a minus 155 favorite, game total of 7.5. I know Detroit broke out last night, but uh, to me, it's a good spot to go right to Gallen. Seth Lugo coming off of a ridiculous 12 strikeout performance. Speaking about outliers, that's probably going to end up being an outlier as the season goes on. But with that said, he's gone for 31 plus DK points in 3 of his last 4 starts. And now he takes on an Oakland team that strikes out a ton themselves. And they've cooled off from their little hot stretch that had everybody talking about Oakland bats. So I'm definitely interested. Going to pick on Oakland as much as possible. Most nights. Game total is at 9 with juice on the over. Lugo's a minus 185 favorite. K prop of 6.5 with juice on the under. So maybe there's some warm weather in Kansas City. We saw that last summer. Sometimes where surprisingly Kansas City had a higher game total than some of the better teams. Uh, so it's something to look into, but it's not going to keep me from playing Seth Lugo against Oakland. Jack Flaherty is showing some K upside. Uh, Arizona hasn't been as dangerous of an offense, so I am interested in Flaherty in a game total that is just 7.5. His K prop is 5.5 with juice slightly on the over. super volatile. He's definitely not somebody I'm using, would recommend using in cash. Um, Probably would only use him in large field single entry and then large field MME stuff. Uh, I don't really think I want to use somebody like him in a small field single entry. Cutter Crawford, somebody I'm definitely used multiple times this year. Not sure I'm going to get there against St. Louis. Not that I think St. Louis is strong or anything, but his K prop is just 5.5 with juice on the under. It's a slight favorite in this game, but yeah, I'm just not sure. He has been better on the road, so maybe I end up there. He's kind of on the borderline right now. Jets Verlander looked great finally in his last start, but that was against Detroit. He has no hit Milwaukee in his career, so maybe, but I'm just not sure I want to rely on him. He's a minus 155 favorite. K prop of 5.5. So maybe he's certainly viable at this point. Not going to go to Walker Bueller. Not really striking guys out. Throwing a lot of pitches early and often, allowing home runs. I'm going to need to see him settle in before I end up going there. Not going to use Yu Darvish against Atlanta, even though he has not allowed a run over his last three starts. Um, I'm just not. No reason to pick on Atlanta in Atlanta with a pitcher. Similar thinking to what I have for Baltimore at this point. Sandoval can definitely have strong starts, but I don't really want to use a pitcher in Texas right now, or mostly ever. I don't, but there's sometimes Texas has shown some struggles, but I have no real reason to rely on Sandoval. Maybe Bryce Elder, but San Diego doesn't really strike out a ton, and strikeouts aren't a big thing with Elder. But that San Diego offense has been pretty weak for much of the season, which it shouldn't be, but it is. So I do have a little bit of interest in Elder. The problem is this K prop is just 3.5. Juice is on the over. He's a minus 118 favorite, but the game total is 8.5 with juice on the over there. So I don't know. Maybe I don't even use Elder. Kind of in that thinking, maybe he just doesn't have enough upside for us on this slate. I'm not really interested in anybody else down here, to be honest. So this main slate, we're going to be kind of top heavy. The day slate, we do have some more pitching that is very interesting. So, but there we have it. There's that first look at pitching for today. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. And if you want to get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's RAZ, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.